just made a return from France, and we are reading on the pages of newspaper that he has approved 10 billion naira for solar panel projects for Aso Villa. If 10 billion naira is to spend on solar panel for Aso Villa alone, what then remains for the remaining of Nigerians? So welcome to the show. It's a pleasure to have you on board. If you want to have a discussion, if you want to have contribution towards this discussion, please unmute your mic and have your say. The program is being televised live via DDM, Diaspora Digital Media, the YouTube-based TV channel. And every of our discussions have been captured via the TV channel. So please feel free to have your say on these two burning issues. Our president having overstayed in France, he extended his stay to England, and only to return last night with another disturbing headline where he has approved 10 billion naira for procurements of solar panel for Aso Rock. If 10 billion naira was expended for solar panel in Aso Villa, you can imagine what becomes of the hope of Nigerians in respect to power generation and power supply across the country. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Please unmute to have your contribution on the subject matter. Thank you. Mr. Degwe Sunday, will you want to go first from Kwara State? Comrade Bala Zaka, is an open discussion. We can feel free to have our contribution on the subject matter. Thank you. Mr. Degwe, you can go.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good morning, welcome, and happy Easter.
You see, first of all, let me start with the president traveled, overseas for many weeks now. We all know that he traveled to treat himself on a medical trip, but he told us that he went there to view the working
visits
of the country. You see, that is number one. It's a failure on our side. It's a very big shame to Nigeria. You see, Nigeria doctors and nurses are well respected across the globe. The problems we are having here is because they provide them with the necessary equipment to carry out the job which they ought to do. For example, if you go to advanced countries for medical checkup or treatment, they have every facilities to carry out the test, surgical operations, and what have you. But here, our government could not or never want to procure those same equipment they are using over there for our hospitals in this place. If that is done, and our Nigeria doctors and nurses are well paid, I see no reason why they should be traveling over there. So if a president should go there to go and treat himself, vice president also will travel, and every person in power travels to go and treat themselves. That is to say, we need to check Nigeria. Nigeria is not working. That's what us is telling us. It's not working. And it is only we that are here, that remains here, whether we are surviving or to God. So that is at that. Coming back to the Aso Rock 10 billion naira, signing 10 billion naira for the procurement of solar system Aso Rock. This very one is laughable. It's very, very laughable. How can, using 10 billion naira to procure a solar system in Aso Rock, that is to say, for now, there is no hope. During his campaign, I remember vividly when he was telling the people that if they did not get lights, or the NEPAs give them estimated bill, they should not vote for him.
I watched the video as well. I watched the video.
They should not vote for him in 2027. So let's even now take it in the other way. If he can use 10 billion naira to install Aso Rock, solar in Aso Rock, how much is he going to use to install the same solar across Nigeria? Is that okay? Now, are we going to depend on solar, or are they using it to support? Anyway, I'm an electrical person anyway. Maybe I think they are using it to back up the previous electricity they were using. It's allowed in the solar. There is a way they connect it to back it up. That one is not effective. But if it is a place where there's always a power failure or outrage, I don't know what they are passing through there, but the main point now is that it is very, very laughable by using that kind of huge amount of money for that Aso Rock alone. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you, Mr. Sunday from Kwara State. If I can add to your line of thought, during the 2023 campaign, some of you will remember vividly that Mr. Tinubu traveled to Egypt to study their power plants and how they were able to multiply this power generation. And instead of the young guys and the APC folks to appreciate this inquiry step taken by Mr. Tinubu, they were making a laughing stock, But at the end of the day, in 2025, the Minister of Power was making arrangements to travel to Egypt to go and study their power plant. I mean, what are we doing in Nigeria? Just yesterday now, Mr. President approved 10 billion naira for power panel installation at the villa. So these all are rounds of confusion. They are not doing anything to improve the ordinary life of the citizens in a country where the villa, the powerhouse of the federation, is depending on solar. Come on. Which investor do you expect to come to that country investing? Where will be the power generation source for that investment? We all understand that without power, there is no way a country can industrialize. So Nigeria is dead as it is. We need total re-engineering of Nigeria to be able to get
overhauling
the right direction. Otherwise, as it is, Nigeria is just doomed. You want to have a contribution again, Mr. Sunday?
No, we are trying to borrow a word. I said even Nigeria needs total overhauling.
Yes. There is a trending video I watched, I talked about the other time, where a Nigerian lady was blasting those who are telling her that where she is living at Burkina Faso, that her village looks more beautiful than where she's living. And she was like, yes, but here, before they take light, even for 5 minutes, there'll be announcement all over the federation. And in less than 5 minutes, the light, the power will be installed. You know, the filling station, the entire country depend on this national power grid. In a situation where there is no any shop seen selling generator, that shows how efficient their power generation is in Burkina Faso. But here we are, big for nothing. We cannot even generate the power for the Aso Villa. How much more Nigerians at large? Nigeria has failed. Let us acknowledge it. Please welcome more contribution. Mr. Zaka, would you want to have a say on this subject matter?
Well, thank you once again. Am I audible enough?
Yes, very audible.
Okay, I greet everybody on this call. It's very clear that Nigeria is practically on the wrong economic, social, and political trajectories. I mean, is very, very clear. I mean, when you have a country of more than 200 million citizens relying on less than 10,000 megawatts of electricity generation, you don't need anybody to tell you that strategic industrial sectors, strategic commercial sectors, and strategic domestic sectors are not going to work. You don't need anybody to tell you that. And if all these key sectors are not working, and you don't need anybody to also tell you what is going to happen to the GDP of the country. All the indices of the GDP are not going to work, or they are going to be in the negative. If everything about the GDP of the country, the variables are in the negative, you don't need anybody to tell you that that country's economy has grinded to a halt or has collapsed into the valley. It's as clear as that. But one thing I keep telling people also is sometimes let us even define who leaders are. And when we want to talk about the context, or in the context of Nigeria, let's not be academic. Let's be as practical as possible. As far as I'm concerned, I mean, leaders are fellow citizens in the context of democracy that other citizens decided to elect. Then after electing them, we handed over our economic, political, and social destinies for them to manage for us in national interests. And from what is going on, as far as I'm concerned, I mean, they are not managing our destinies properly. Our political destiny is not being properly managed. Our economic destiny is not being properly managed. Our social destiny is not being properly managed. So when you look at things from that angle, it tells you that there is a need for total recalibration of virtually everything. And as Nigeria is today, I keep telling people, you can't hide anything. You can't, there is nothing to hide. So sometimes when I hear attack dogs talking, you know, people coming, you know, you see those you expected to be technocrats, those who are supposed to be talking in national interest, and they have decided to reduce themselves to propagandists. I feel sorry for them, because regimes will come and regimes will go. For anybody that took time to end, you know, their own integrity, it does not pay that you reduce yourself to a propagandist, you know, because after a given period, that leader is going to go. And everything about you and your effort and that leader will be consigned to the dustbin of history. And whether, regardless of how people paint it, posterity will always be there. History will always be there to vindicate everybody. So for me, Nigeria is clearly not on the right track. Let us, and it doesn't matter. And like I said, I will never be academic again, because we've had enough people who have read. People are well read, you expected that people are well read. As we speak right now, if a and that's why I like being as practical as possible. If a vulcanizer uses 10,000 naira to buy about 11 liters of petrol, you tell me, how many tires is he going to vulcanize before the 10 liters get finished? Tell me, how many liters? How many tires is he going to vulcanize before he recovers the cost of that petrol that he bought? Then from
let me ask you
there,
your thoughts,
he takes care.
Comrade Zaka, let me ask you your
Yes.
thoughts. The analysis you are giving regarding the organizer, let's acknowledge that the organizer is living in a rented house, right?
You see, that's why I love what you're saying. You see, that's why if you remember, that was why I said I don't like being academic again. I don't like talking about principles, concepts, and let's be down to the basis. So it's the same way. Then when you go to a barber, you understand, and like I said, we are a population of more than 200 million citizens, and we are living on less than 10,000 megawatts of electricity. And that was why I talk about the key sectors: strategic industrial sector, strategic commercial sector, and strategic domestic sectors. They are not going to work. So look at the example of a barber, and that's why now these days I've decided I won't be very academic. I won't talk about concepts, principles, just practical examples. If a barber uses like 10,000 Nigerian naira to buy about 10 or 11 liters of petrol, how many people is he going to barb before the petrol gets finished? Just a simple elementary question. So you find out that he is not going to practically break even. Look at the way insecurity is ravaging the entire country. Then come again and ask a simple and an elementary question. Assuming many of these villages you go now, the youths are idle. They cannot go to the farms because they will get hacked to death. So assuming a youth can cultivate probably 100 ridges of harvest in a year. But because of insecurity, 1,000 youths in a state are not able to go to the farms. Calculate and see the losses. You're talking about 1,000 multiplied by 100 ridges of losses and cultivation. That will not be there. You need anybody to tell you that there will be hunger? It's practical. Nigeria has so much gas, and everybody knows that from natural gas, you will get ammonia, right? From ammonia, you are going to get urea. From urea, you will get fertilizer. So considering the abundant natural gas that we have, you should expect that we should be rich in fertilizer, and we should be able to boost agriculture. But I know, and everybody knows, that we don't have that. Everybody knows that from gas, you are supposed to generally push gas turbines and generate electricity. But are we as lit as Qatar? The answer is no. With our gas abundance, we are supposed to be, we are a member of Gas Exporting Countries Forum with headquarters in Qatar, just the way we belong to a crude oil cartel. So ordinarily, Nigeria should be as lit as Qatar. But is Nigeria as lit as Qatar? The answer is no. So when you look at it practical, that's why these days we don't even talk about titles. Let's be as elementary as possible. Then just look at the minimum wage. Like, I'm sorry, I will mention a name here. The other day, I saw one of the advisors of either the president or vice president, an economic advisor, talking and analyzing, on the print media, or I think an electronic media. Doctor, with due respect, Dr. Tokwe Fashwa, he was analyzing, and all the question, the simple question, and I just asked is, and I just said, bring down the Nigerian minimum wage, because there was a way he was saying 2,500 naira cannot buy this, can buy something in Nigeria. Meanwhile, $1 or $5 cannot buy something in the US. And I asked a very simple and an elementary question. I said, when you look at the entire minimum wage in Nigeria, you're talking about 70,000 naira, right? The entire 70,000 naira cannot buy a 50 kg bag of rice in Nigeria.
Yes.
Are you saying in the US, the total minimum wage of a citizen in US cannot buy him a single 50 kg bag of rice? That's how you do the comparison. Very simple and elementary. That's why I say I don't bother about technical, because people don't read book tire. We don't read, we have qualification and this. So then the other simple question you will ask, this should be as elementary. That's where you answer these people. Okay, if you look at the entire minimum wage in Nigeria, it is about 70,000 Nigerian naira. Can 70,000 Nigerian naira buy 100 liters of diesel? The answer is no. 100 liters of diesel in Nigeria will cost probably 100,000 Nigerian naira. Meanwhile, the minimum wage is 70,000 naira. So are you telling me that in the US, the whole minimum wage of a month for a citizen cannot buy 100 liters of diesel in the US? You will find out that probably that 100 liters of diesel one day wage can buy 100 liters of diesel. So that is how you analyze economies. That's how you look at things. When you look at, okay, you're talking about a country. When last did we have any real industrial structure in place? The answer, you cannot find the answer. Meanwhile, you expected that in the context of an emerging economy like Nigeria, the population is supposed to be rising. So energy cost will be supposed to rise. So people will expect more energy. You are supposed to expect more people that will require health care. You are supposed to expect that more people will be provided with water and other things. But it is not obtainable in Nigeria. Then finally, so that others can talk, put the Nigerian minimum wage. You, probably Dr. Tokwe Fashua or whoever, I want you to be as practical as possible with Nigerians. Put the 70,000 naira on the table, because you call it minimum wage. Break it down for us and guide us, because we appear to be people who don't have brains. Break it down and show how a man, his wife, and 2 children, because it's supposed to even be 4 children. 1 man, his wife, and 4 children. How 6 people can live and feed on that 70,000 Nigerian naira. So if you say you wouldn't want us to be talking about that, break 70,000 naira for me. For that man, his wife, and 4 children. Show me how much they need to buy food, how much they need for their Medicare, how much they need for school fees, how much they need for house rent, how much they need for... Just do that for us. Because it's becoming something I think we don't know what we are talking about. Break that one down and say, okay, I'm a man, I have a wife and 4 kids. On that minimum wage, show me how, break it down for me. This one is for your food, this one is for your whatever. Show us. But if you ask somebody in the UK or US or Canada or Burkina Faso or Ghana, they will break it down and show you, and you can see it. So we are living a life of deception, courtesy the attitude and profligacy of our political leaders. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Comrade Zaka. Comrade Zaka, where are you joining us all the way from? Because we enjoy your contribution, your analysis. Where are you joining us from?
Yeah, I'm joining you from Lagos. But any moment from now, I will go into an operations meeting. Then from there again, there is a kind of inauguration of a chapter coming up. So I need to be a part of the discussion and the preparation, because I played a role in something. So if you wouldn't mind, I will mute, but I will be listening to you guys remotely. And if there
Yes,
is a need for me to talk, I will raise my hand and contribute, but I'll be following.
we appreciate
Thank you, sir.
We appreciate your diligent analysis of the Nigerian economic situation, the implication of the minimum wage on the average life of Nigerians. Thank you for joining the COPDEM People's Parliament. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. For those who are just joining us, this is COPDEM People's Parliament, where we dissect socio-political issues as it affects Nigerians. This program is being aired live via Diaspora Digital Media. Is a global network that projects the Nigerian situation to the world so that the world will be aware of what is happening in our own country. I welcome you, Dr. Kehinde Sogunle. We appreciate your time. Welcome to the program. Dr. Joseph Mama, welcome to the program. Just Noble, all the way from Imo State, welcome to the program. Thanks for joining us. Mr. Comrade Zaka has dwelt so much on the economic implication of Tinubu policies that seem not to be working for Nigerians. Would you want to have your voice on the security situations as it affects Nigeria, given the second topic, where there are over 230 Nigerians killed in the space of 2 weeks by Fulani terrorists, the Fulani herdsmen menace game going on in our various communities across the Middle Belt, Benue, Plateau, Nasarawa. They are all feeling the heat of these Fulani atrocities. Would you want to have your contribution on the subject matter? As leaders are already adding their voices to self-defense, urging Nigerians to pick up arms and defend themselves, as well as calling for a total ban on open grazing. Would you want to have your contribution on this subject matter? Please unmute your mic and talk to us. Who wants to have contribution on this subject matter? The Fulani atrocities taking place in Nigeria. I watched a disturbing video where the ESN has activated a total crackdown on Fulani herdsmen, that there is no room for open grazing in the southeast. And we all understand that ESN, they don't commence an agenda without concluding it. I see war coming up. Since the federal government has been complicit in silence, this has led to citizens taking up their destiny in their hands. Comrade Bala, you want to have a contribution again?
Okay, yeah, quickly. Somebody just told me that I have another 10 minutes before we take off. So I want to talk about,
talk about the security, the open grazing aspect that you've not touched.
Okay, generally, when you talk about insecurity, insecurity simply means the presence of risk. You have risk when there are no controls. And when you talk about controls, you are talking about basically, from me personally, because when you talk in a group like this, different people have different angles from where they contribute. For me, when you talk about controls, you are talking about inhibiting mechanisms that will make the threat not to be able to take advantage of you. And for me personally, you're supposed to have what we call preventive controls, detective controls, and corrective or compensating control mechanisms. Let me start with the detective controls. Detective controls are supposed to help you to be able. No, first of all, let me start with the preventive. The preventive is supposed to prevent the criminal or the threat from coming in the first place. Like we said, prevention is better than cure. So from even the beginning, you are control mechanisms that are preventive in nature should not even allow the criminal or the threat or the terrorist to be even able to come in. But by the time they are even able to beat the preventive control. At the point of committing the threat or harm or the killings, the detective control will be able to detect that somebody beats the preventive mechanism or security control, but he or she is causing harm now. In our own context, killing people, maiming and destroying crops or whatever. But in Nigeria, preventive controls will fail, detective control will fail, and the third one that we call corrective controls, meaning if you are not able to prevent terrorists from coming in, and you were not able to even detect them when they started killing, you should be able to correct the situation almost immediately. But in Nigeria, do you know that all control mechanisms have failed? So if control mechanisms fail, then you are thrown into a risk. As far as I'm concerned, Nigeria has been thrown into a risk. And what is a risk? By my definition, a risk is the chance of threat taking advantage of your vulnerabilities and causing you harm. And in the context of Nigeria, the kind of threat of insecurity that we are having has taken advantage of our vulnerabilities, which could be lack of government response time, lack of security control, lack of arming the communities and whatever, and has caused us political, economic, and social harm. Once your country or your system is exposed to risk, then just have it at the back of your mind that you are not going to enjoy any patronage. The way Nigeria is today, when I talk about patronage, we are talking about investors ever showing interest. No investor will show interest in coming to Nigeria. But let's even talk about ourselves. I have seen people who, in those days, when somebody is approaching 50, they start building their retirement homes in the villages. Because by the age of 60, they have built a house, acquired some land, and are prepared to do what I call embark on lateral movement, so that they can leave the city and go back to the villages, embark on farming, and leave the villages for the younger generation. But in the context of Nigeria now, you see even 90-year-old people living in the cities. Because if they go to their villages, they get hurt. If they go to their villages, they get killed. We see it. Terrorists come after them, and with connivance, with even insiders, they get killed. So it's very, very clear that the control mechanisms have failed. So it is also the duty of government to make sure security of property and people is maintained. I will have examples everywhere. People in those days, as they are approaching a particular age, they will be very happy. They will go start buying hectares of land, doing this and go back. But now we can go to our villages, because our villages are even worse. You see people staying, living in the cities and dying. So something, or it also, at the end of the day, is failure of governance. When government and governance fail, this is the result of what you are seeing. And it's very, very practical. So Nigeria can never be an investment haven again for foreign investors. But even for local investors, Nigeria is not a suitable investment destination. Because recently we heard that allegedly that former President Obasanjo went towards Cameroon to go and probably acquire some land, or wanted to go into some kind of investment. If somebody like a former president in Nigeria will go to do that, you don't need more than, you don't even need even a school cert knowledge to know that something is wrong with the host country of the person. So in the context of Nigeria, all the control mechanisms as far as security is concerned have failed, and measures must be taken. It is only in Nigeria that you see people that have no ancestry connection, no bad connection, no legal relationship, flooding a country and causing destruction. You can't try that. The smallest countries in Africa, you can't enter those countries without proper documentation. But unfortunately, everything about the porosity and permeability of Nigeria in terms of security have failed. And something needs to be done about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Comrade Zaka, for dwelling that part. Nigeria is so porous. Our borders is porous and unmanned. The immigration department, they need to be brought to questioning. How do these terrorists come into Nigeria? How do they get their supplies? Somebody needs to be responsible for this question. As nobody has been sacked, no service chief has been sacked for any purpose. We all see them being retained. As a matter of fact, the police IGP is overstaying his office after retirement age. So these are some of the factors. Are they rewarding failure? This remains to be seen whether the government of the day will come back from this pool of failure. But as it is, Nigeria is sinking and sinking heavily to the point that we may never be able to recover from this massive failure that is going on under the watch of Tinubu, the sitting president of Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining this program, COPDEM People's Parliament. We'll be having the same program tomorrow by 7 a.m. Please, we look forward to having you as our esteemed guest so we can dissect another trending stories as it happens across Nigeria. Thank you for your time and have a blessed and a very blessed day. Thank you all.
Bye.